All right, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, this has been a long time coming. It's what, a month, 2 months, 3 months since.
Oh, it's gotta be.
Oh yeah, since we've done any sort of podcast because guess what? Life gets in the way. Some big changes on your end as well. Ashley, you're back
Thank
home
you. Yes, I
and
am.
doing great things. Hopefully, this podcast doesn't go out and get anyone in trouble. Okay. We don't know the policy over there yet, so we'll see. But anyway, we're doing fast fire philosophy today. We enjoyed the last one when we were just kind of spitballing our thoughts when it came to, just random conversation. And I thought we'd do it again today. So you ready? Are you hyped for this?
Super.
Okay, let's get it on. Okay. You don't see what I have here, but you saw the last video. You know how this works. I'm going to spin the wheel. What I'll do is I'll paste the question in. Oh, what happened? There was nothing. It. Oh no. Okay. We
Technical
we might
difficulties.
have to. That was a foul. It spun and nothing came of it. It literally didn't bring up any questions. I think. Okay. Okay. This is good. This one's good. This one's easy. I'll copy it in for you. But what is the best way for a person to attain happiness?
Oh, that is not a good start.
That's a fantastic start. What is the meaning of life? How do we attain happiness?
I, I feel very confronted by that question. Um,
This look, this is assuming we have attained happiness, but I'm ready for you to go first.
Thank you. What a gentleman. I think a wise friend once told me
Yes.
that comparison is the thief of joy.
Thank you to Theodore Roosevelt. I believe that's his quote.
The wise man. So perhaps the way to attain happiness
Yes.
is to compare only to your past self and not to others.
Mm. First, I think it's important to define happiness.
Okay, yes.
Right? What is happiness? And it's so subjective. Happiness is different for everybody.
It's a day of big questions. I got asked today to define thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Now you're asking me what is happiness.
This should be right
I
up your
don't
alley
know.
then. This is
But
like you've been talking about it all day.
I don't have the answers to these questions today.
Well, look,
Uh,
happiness is different for everybody, right? I mean, for it goes back to the age-old example of you see kids in third world country just living off the land and being very happy, oblivious to the first world problems that we have,
yeah.
and that is their happiness versus someone in the Western world, first world country, that happiness means the big yacht, the big
Money.
paying job, the beautiful relationship, whatever it is. So it's very
Yeah.
subjective. So look, I don't know how to answer what is the best way for a person to attain happiness.
But in saying that, thinking about what you just said, is what's missing, and then this is a different argument altogether, but is
Mm,
it connection? Because our developed countries, that's what's starting to go missing in social
mm,
media, in, our population. It is kind of so competitive. There's so many other things going on. And when that
mm.
connection falls apart, we are unhappy, even though we've got what could be measurable success compared to.
Yeah, I like that actually. I do agree with you that it's one thing is I've learned that the quote that you said, comparison is thief
Mhm.
of joy. That's true.
Yes,
I may not
100%.
know what happiness is, but I may
Yeah.
know what robs you of a certain type of
Yeah.
positive feeling, right?
Yeah.
And
Just peace.
yeah, exactly. And always comparing yourself, that will rob you of any potential happiness that you will have.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I know what's happiness for me though. Like just having family around,
Yeah.
um, being able to support, provide for people that are important to you. And to your
Yeah.
point, it's that community, it's and everything else. Um, goes back to that experiment where they put one rat in the maze, fed it whatever it fed it, and it kept going back to there. But when I think it was like heroin. I don't think it was heroin.
We're just feeding rats heroin.
We're feeding rats heroin, and it kept going back to get its dose of heroin. But as soon as you introduced like, more rats into the community, it stopped going back for that because it had already sought its happiness, its community, that social connection that it needed.
Did we just solve drug addiction in society
We
at the
did.
same time?
We did. We always knew this though. It's not like we didn't know this. We already knew this. So there you go.
Everyone just needs a friend.
We all need multiple friends. Okay, I will stop there. We don't want to talk about friends. All right, so I'm going to hide this because I think we've managed to solve that question. I'm going to spin the wheel again. Oh, it needs to spin faster. Hurry up. Oh, no.
I don't like that reaction.
Is free will. No. Yeah, is free will real or just an illusion?
Oh dear.
That's too deep. That's
That's
too deep.
really that's a really big question.
Okay, I I've delved into this listening to YouTube videos and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and there's this one guy, I can't remember his name now, but he says there's no such thing as free will because everything that has led you to do what you've done, every decision that you've made, it's
Yes.
because of a prior experience. It's a
Okay.
result of something that's happened to you. Even
Okay.
going down as far as when you were a fetus in your mother's stomach, you know,
Yes.
you came out a certain way because your mother had trauma. So in
Yes.
even in that sense, you had no free will because your mother's trauma or your mother's happiness or whatever
I'm with
contributed
you.
to you being who you are now.
Yes.
Therefore, there's no such thing as free will.
I don't like it.
I know. I don't. I do. Okay. Do you like the idea that we have free will or we don't have? Like, where do you sit at least?
Like, can you be a product of your environment? Because I don't argue there. Like, things happen and influence you, and your behaviors and everything else. It's defined by your experiences and your past. I accept that. But can that rob you of your free will? Because you then can take that on board if you have enough awareness
Mm.
and you know where you're at, where your decision making model is coming from. Can you not then implement some free will and be like, I didn't like this, therefore I will not do it to others?
But
That's
is that
my
free will?
will.
The fact that you implemented something different as a result of that experience, did that experience not cause you to have that, make that
Yeah.
decision? Do you know what I mean?
But I have choice.
Yeah, but that choice was predicated on that previous experience. Do you know? That's why I'm like, oh my God, this question. Because it's like the rabbit or the chicken and the egg, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a hard one because okay, let's go through a life cycle of somebody, right?
Yes.
And let's go the life cycle of someone we know best, okay?
Yes.
Adult heroin addict, you know,
Yep.
mother was an addict, suffered from, um, was using while you were in the
Pregnant.
womb, right?
Mm-hmm.
Came out, uh, what are those babies called? I can't remember. Like, came out already addicted and going through withdrawals, right?
Yep.
So already there is trauma there inbuilt into that DNA,
Yes.
right? And every decision leading up to that kid's childhood
Yep.
is predicated on the fact that this happened to him while in vivo. Is that no? Vivo is a test
Utero?
tube. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm so bad. Yeah, in utero,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So you know what I mean? It's like,
But what we're talking about is like that fetus doesn't have, this is getting deeper than it needs to, but that fetus doesn't have free will either because
mm,
it doesn't exist yet. Do you know what I mean? Like, at
mm,
what point
yes,
do you get to have like an active participation role
mm,
in what's going on?
that's a good
Like, I
question.
understand that this is around me and this is how I want to respond to it. That's my will.
Mm,
But there's plenty of people out there who don't exercise that free will. They're just very much like, it's happening to me, therefore I shall
Yes,
XYZ.
we've met a lot of those people. It's
Yes.
just I'm a product of my circumstances. This is just how it is for me, and I
Yes.
can't
It is.
change things. And we're rebels against that because the work we do requires you to believe that there is a will to change. Yeah,
If we didn't believe in free will, both of us would be
mm,
in some real trouble.
yeah. I mean, I understand that both camps. Yeah, it's a deep one. It requires a whole podcast on its own. But
Yeah.
you know, we're just gonna have to agree that there's multiple facets to free will, and it's
Yeah.
nothing that we can explain in one sitting. All right,
Too.
here we go. This one is a long one. I'm gonna
Let's do this.
copy it in
Thank
and
you.
read it out to you at the same time.
Oh, yes.
Would it be more frightening to discover that humans are the most advanced species in the universe, or that we are far from being the most advanced species in the universe? Hmm.
Before I derail this question,
Hmm.
I need to figure out if either of those scare me.
Okay. Yep. Well,
The
yeah,
first
I was doing the same as I was reading it.
like I certainly don't think that we are the most advanced species in the universe.
Hmm.
And maybe that means I'm comfortable with it, and that certainly doesn't confront me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to think if we were, if that
Okay.
would be frightening to
So
me.
you're already on the side of that we are not the most advanced. There's more advanced species out there in the universe than us.
Yes.
Does that scare you?
No, that's what I mean. I think I've always maybe thought that. So
Hmm.
it doesn't confront me. I'm just kind of like, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
You're
Humans do a
not.
lot of dumb things. Like,
So the idea of a alien race coming to murder humankind doesn't scare you?
why has it always got to go in that direction? What if they wanted to make peace and
Because I
educate
think humans would not want to make peace
the
because we're
talent?
dumb.
So we're the problem
Yeah,
here.
we are the problem.
Well, maybe then that is frightening, that because we're not the most advanced,
Mm,
we would reject an opportunity for growth
yeah.
and
Wouldn't it
sacrifice
wouldn't it be
ourselves.
sad though if we were the most advanced?
That is pretty sad,
It's
hey?
it's sad on so many levels. I mean, advanced species. Look, straight away when you read that, you think about technological advancement. Or
Okay.
that's what I do anyway. I think, okay, maybe technologically most advanced, but really, that whole humans are the most advanced species could come in so many facets, like most emotionally advanced species, most intellectually advanced species, technologically advanced species, right? But like humans as emotional creatures are dumb as hell.
Yes. And we're driven by all the wrong things. Like we're not the most rational when it
Mm,
comes to that.
yeah, yeah,
And so if that's as advanced as we get, that is scary.
and the upper echelons of humans of who we respect and admire is becoming more absurd now. It's just a popularity contest. It's not the most smartest person in the world. It's probably at this moment
Or
in
the
time,
kindest.
yeah. At this moment, it's probably the most richest, which is ultimately sad, right? The richest
Yeah.
person is wins the popularity contest.
And that's what everybody wants.
Yeah, and
And that's as advanced as we get.
whilst Elon Musk, I love his rockets and solar panels and whatnot. I don't think he's
Yeah.
the most advanced species. It is not representative of the most advanced human. You know what I mean?
The best that we're going to get. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, it's frightening. If you believe that humans right now are the most advanced in the universe, that is very sad.
It's very bleak.
Yeah, it is very bleak. Um, and let's just hope that there are more advanced species out there and that they are kind and that they are, you know, wonderful, beautiful, forgiving, compassionate beings.
And that we wish to accept them.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Indeed that we wish to accept them. Spinning the wheel of shame. All right. Oh, another long one. Okay.
Ready.
Would selectively breeding an animal such as a dog based on intelligence increase its intelligence over time? If so, how intelligent could dogs become? If not, how does intelligence emerge in a species? Hmm.
Okay. I feel dumb
Hmm.
for thinking that the first part is obvious. Like if we bred any species based on one trait, whether it's intelligence or anything,
Yep.
and that's what you continue to breed, then yes, over time that would increase.
Yes, I agree with you.
Am I misunderstanding something? Is
No.
there something in biology I don't understand?
Nope. You've
Okay.
answered the first question, and I'm very much um, in line with what you believe. Yeah, yes. If we just choose that trait specifically and keep breeding it over time, yes, I believe they will become intelligent over time. So, if so, how intelligent could dogs become? Like, is there a ceiling for what's intelligence in a dog?
I feel like we've talked about this.
Have we?
I feel like we have. Maybe it's part of the lost content, but like
No,
we compare.
we talked about how dogs can't understand other dogs. Like a Aussie dog can't understand a Chinese dog. Language. No,
Yes,
it was language. It was a question on language.
but we also talked about like for a dog, its capacity compared to a human. Like we're us assessing its intelligence, we're expecting it to do what we want it to do,
Mm.
and therefore we class it as not intelligent because it can't function as we are.
And even then, like, I think it would be limited by like its physical ability too. For example, right, if you kept breeding intelligence to a dog, the dog would eventually figure out, hey, I can actually do much more on two legs than I could on four. Probably not the case. I'm just saying, right? But then
I
physically,
see that.
but physically, it couldn't like it couldn't start walking on two legs. I mean, its anatomy wouldn't even allow it, even though intellectually it could rationalize that yes, I would be better walking bipedally.
But like, isn't that how we all started?
So do you reckon
Allegedly.
all the Christians will be cursing you right now? Catholic Church coming
Why am
after
I
you.
this right now?
Um, Perhaps this is how we all started. So, are you saying that it would just over time change, morph, adapt, Darwinism or Darwinism,
Natural selection.
your natural selection? Just oh, maybe I don't know.
We just have dogs on two legs running the country.
Yeah,
I could get around that.
I mean, I think I wonder why they chose dogs as opposed to chimps or gorillas,
Maybe
right?
to stop the leap I just made.
Because like this, we wouldn't have so much issue if it was like, oh, if you intellectually bred chimps on, because they're pretty close enough that you could actually see them.
It's happening.
Yeah,
We've all seen Planet of the Apes.
we have, and we know how that ended.
It's not good.
Civilization collapses due to literally people breeding smart monkeys.
So no smart dogs.
Yeah, let's not breed dogs
Anything
based on
more intelligent.
intelligence. Okay, let's just not do that. Let's
Let's
hide.
let dogs be dogs.
That's right. You know, the Aussie dogs will never speak to the Colombian dogs. Let's just, it's fine. Just let them be. All right, the next one. Is it possible for a human to fathom the true depths of reality and existence? The big guns coming
No,
out tonight. Oh
I'm
no.
saying no.
Why? Can't you say no?
Okay. I'm gonna open this up it's going to sound like an open question, but it's pretty closed.
Okay.
There's one criticism that you like to give me as a person.
Oh no.
And
God.
it's the depth of thought that I
Mm.
go into.
Yeah.
And even then,
Yeah.
right, myself and my fellow overthinkers out there in the world who
Yes.
maybe get more out of situations than most,
Yes.
I think we're 1% of the way there. Like, oh, there's no way. We don't have an understanding of reality and existence and
Mm.
everything behind it.
Mm. Yeah. No, I
And
agree with
you
you.
already, you make arguments that I'm not functional, that
What?
I'm too deep.
You're
Like,
too what?
I'm too deep. Like, I can't, I'm not living. I'm get lost in the weeds.
Yes. No, I only say that in the terms of getting lost in the weeds and w- wasting energy when it's not necessary to waste energy, right?
Yeah.
But in terms of whether we're able to fathom the true depths of reality existence, no, of course we can't, right? We don't even know the universe is infinite to kind of bring it back to the, whole aliens and space thing. Like,
Yeah.
we don't understand the reality of what we see half the time,
Yes.
you know? And for us to, I can't, I literally cannot fathom humans
No,
being that, yeah,
we are not the most advanced species on Earth. These are
yeah,
all coming together.
exactly. And, like, there's senses that we can't even pick up, like ultrasound and sound waves and,
Like,
yeah, there's stuff that we can't even hear, smell. Like, Greyhound can smell stuff that we can't, right? So
mhm.
how can we even fathom that we know everything there is to know? We can't.
And I think tying back as well to the fact that we are an emotional species, I think if we got like one millionth the depth of our own existence or the depth of our own reality,
Mm.
we'd all just be really sad.
Oh.
I feel like that would be really overwhelming. Like, do you not feel like you would be overcome by your reality if you really understood everything all the time? Curiosity
Mm.
keeps me like excited.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how those monks do it then. Like, they just seem so content with, because I think they just accept that they'll never be able to know or understand all, and it is just how it is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And would you want to?
No,
Yeah, you wouldn't want to. Like you said, you'd probably be miserable. But that's just,
there are things that are
but
better off not being understood.
yeah. But then are you assuming that at the light at the end of the tunnel is a dark light as opposed to a bright light?
That's a loaded question. No.
Why would you be miserable? Maybe you'd understand everything and be so filled with compassion and joy.
I don't know. That's
I'm
my
just
professional judgment. I'm
I'm
not
just saying
sure.
it could be positive. That's all I'm saying. We just don't know. All right, I've spun the wheel again because I'm
Get me
moving
out of
on.
this,
Oh yeah,
this
get me
hole
out
that
of
I've
this.
dug for myself.
Oh no, I'm finding these questions quite difficult tonight. I don't know why.
Okay.
Are intentions or outcomes more important when judging whether actions are moral? Oh, why are they so deep?
Oh, you
Our
and I have had this
intentions or
debate
outcomes?
several times.
Yeah, I'm sure we have. Probably off camera, maybe. Or important. Okay. Are intentions or outcomes more important when judging whether actions are moral? Hmm.
This is the train,
This is
David.
the
This
train. Yes,
is
this
the
is the
train right
train.
now.
This is the train. And we spent hours discussing this.
Dissecting it. Intentions all the way.
So let's perfectly use that example then, because I think you can kind of well explain this better than myself. So go ahead.
All right. So treat this scenario as just non negotiable.
Hmm.
There's a train, you've come across it, you can see it's heading in a direction. On that direction, there are 5 people tied to the tracks, and we just accept that you cannot help them.
Hmm.
The option then that you realize is that there's a lever where you can derail the track, divert its course in an opposite direction.
Mm-hmm.
But that train track has one person tied
Yes.
to it.
Yes.
Now, forgiving all other questions and
Yep.
no
Just
backseas on this
yep.
scenario,
No other factors. Yep.
do we allow the train to continue on its course, hitting 5 people, or do we divert the train, hitting the one?
Yes.
And why?
Okay. So my one was I would divert and kill the one. What was yours?
Yes. That I would leave it where it is, and I would kill the 5.
Yes. Okay. So, in that scenario, it was
You are outcomes,
my
and
one
I am intention.
outcomes. Yes, yes, that's right. My one's outcome because the outcome of killing 5, is much worse than diverting and just killing the one. Yes, it was better to just kill the one and save the 5.
Yes.
Yes, and explain your one.
Okay. This is the unpopular opinion.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Not many people agree with me. My argument is that what you're doing based on that outcome, which you have no way to determine is better or worse,
Mm-hmm.
but that is kind of like your decision-making model. You are making a choice. You are actively driving
Yes.
an outcome
Yes.
based on information that you don't have.
Yes.
I would argue more so in your scenario than mine that you have killed someone.
Mm-hmm.
Because you approached that track and you said, this cannot happen. I want this to happen.
Yep.
Not having all the information, but having enough to go, this was a decision I made.
Yes.
Leaving the train to continue as it is.
Yes.
My intention is, I don't know, I guess, accepting that it is not my decision to make. I don't have that power, that control, all of the information I need to determine what's going on.
Yes.
And my intention is not to kill.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it kind of was happening anyway
is
the scenario that we're in.
And my argument, if I recall correctly, was that's a cop-out.
That was your argument.
Yeah.
Correct.
And because we're on different sides of the coin on this.
The train.
if anyone is actually listening, I want them to actually say what they would do, because you already know, you've probably read the research paper or something, that statistically you have the more unfavorable response, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And I understand your position completely. Void of any other knowledge. Yes, it's you. Your position is, I just don't want to be involved, right? I just don't want to have like a say in like I hear you when you say, in my scenario, I've literally killed somebody because I've diverted the train, so I have actually killed that one person.
Yes.
Right. But do you also see that by being a bystander, I'm sure there's a law against this too, by being a bystander and not doing something, you're complicit in the murder of those 5.
So
this was on the last episode of Seinfeld, by the way. They didn't off that guy.
My biggest pet peeve is that it always comes down to the argument that gets thrown back at me, is that it makes you a bystander.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand where that position comes from, but a bystander, like it's assumed, and maybe there's connotations here, but it's assumed as a bystander that it's not coming with careful consideration, that it's not a decision. It almost is like, like, what is it? Fight, flight, and freeze.
Mm-hmm.
Bystander kind of feels like the freeze, like the scenarios hit you and you just kind of didn't know what to do and you got stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think, takes away from the point. The argument here is about intentions and outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not about me bystanding. It's the fact that I am more morally concerned with what decision I made and why.
Yes.
Than what happened next.
Yes, I get it.
So could I live with the fact that I stood there knowing that a train was heading in the direction of 5 people compared to I've allowed myself to open up the part of me that said, yeah, one person can die. That's fine. I've made that choice.
Yep.
And because this is a moral problem,
Mm.
not a bystander problem, it's about how I could live with that decision moving forward.
So, if this was not just a theoretical exercise and you were faced with this
Yes.
in real life,
Yes.
would you do different?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
And I think that's meant to be the point. Like you're meant to treat this as how you would genuinely respond. And I think for me, what it comes down to, and maybe it's some control issues,
Yep.
intentions I can control.
Mm-hmm.
I know how I'm feeling, what I'm hoping for, what my literal intention is.
Yeah.
The outcome is then out of my hands. I do XYZ behavior, and whatever happens,
Mm-hmm.
despite the best intentions, I can't confirm that that is going to happen. But if I was to base my entire decision making rationale on what I was hoping to achieve when I have no control in that,
Mm-hmm.
that feels reckless. Like to me, that feels like you're throwing caution to the wind and then trying to throw up an argument of, but I did it for the right reasons.
But
Well,
don't you
no,
feel
it
like in
wasn't that.
that scenario, in the train one, you do have control over the outcome?
No. And it's for all the arguments that go against someone who's based on the outcome or the consequences. So the other parts of this scenario then become, oh, but what if the one person is like Mother Teresa and
No,
the
no.
five
There's no,
are,
yeah, forget the what ifs and everything else. You
but
know?
like to answer your question,
Mm.
that's where I come back to. I could live with it. I wouldn't change my mind
Mm.
because I have no way of knowing that that outcome is better off.
Yep. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
But if
Because there's
but if everything was equal though, you know, we didn't know their circumstances or anything else. We just purely know that there was 5 versus 1. Still, intentions.
yeah,
Okay.
because I didn't put that train there. I didn't do that. I didn't wake up in the morning and put those 5 people on those tracks and say that train is coming for you.
But
But I did
actually,
pull that lever.
God put you in that position. It was a
Here we
test.
go.
All right, we're moving on. Please don't send in our hate mail towards Ashley. No, I'm just joking.
You just killed Mother Teresa, but okay.
Oh, I never liked Mother Teresa anyway. Oh, okay. Oh, this is I don't know. What are the biggest moral dilemmas your country is facing now? There you go. Yeah, I don't know. What are the biggest moral dilemmas your country? You still there? You're frozen. Oh.
I'm trying to think about what's in the news.
Yeah, no, that's boring. Let's skip this. We have the
What are
power
people
to skip.
struggling with right now?
Oh, look, I feel like there's other moral dilemmas, and it's not based on country. It's like global moral dilemmas. So don't. Let's just bypass that.
Yeah.
Oh my god, why? These questions are so long and complex. Different
Okay.
people and different organisms perceive reality in vastly different ways. Agreed. With that in mind, what is real and what is just our perception of reality? Or does every organism live in its own personal reality? Oh, I actually like this question. This is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the second part of that
Yeah. Okay.
very
Because we
much.
both agree in the first part already. Okay.
Yeah.
So an ant perceives what an ant perceives, a human perceives what we perceive. So with that in mind, what is real and what is just our perception of reality? Oh. See, this is the thing, right? We see a scenario through the lens of our reality, which is governed by our personal experiences, our our trauma, our issues, our daddy issues, our
Mummy issue.
our attachment issues, our detachment issues. You know,
No
So,
one feels personally attacked by this conversation. No one.
so does every organism live in its own personal reality?
Yes.
Mm,
Yes, I think it does.
mm,
I think the more I think about this, that I guess us as a species, which I just don't think we're capable of living in reality. Your
mm,
own perception of reality is just about all you can fathom. It's that age old, like
yeah.
your side, my side, and the truth.
Mm, yes.
We are seeing the world through a lens, and no matter how unbiased, open minded,
Yeah.
all of those wonderful things,
Yes.
there's still a lens being applied. You're just never going to
Yeah.
see anything other than your own perception of reality.
Yeah. And don't you feel like now more than ever, reality is so confusing? Like with social
Yes.
media, with manipulation of media, with the news, and what you're told is real versus not. And it's like your reality is not even your reality anymore. It's someone else's reality that's been projected onto you, and you've just assumed it
Yeah.
to be true. It's like, uh, yeah. So we definitely all live in our own reality because we interpret stuff differently.
And I think that's what it is as well. Like we live in a reality where we don't have all of the information. And
Mm,
that's why we retreat to our own perception, because you can only go off based off what you have.
yep.
If things are being withheld from you and reality, you're never going to get the full picture, then how can you
Mm,
actually know what is real and what's going on? There's
yeah.
too much information to process that way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a false reality that we live, which kind of then goes to you question like what's the purpose of trying to take everything in? Because it's like, can you really
So,
accept it to be true? And is this real? And is this,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm always
Sometimes
missing.
it might be good just being an ant or a cockroach. It's just like you wake up one day and all you know is food. That's all you
I
need to
snack,
know.
I sleep, I die.
Pretty much. I know a big foot squash. That is my reality. See, we're too smart for our own good. So, like, the people that like come up with these questions, right? How do people come up with these questions, and why?
People who have too much time on their hands
But
and
someone
are
must have thought about these topics to come up with these questions. You know?
somebody hasn't slept in about 15 years pondering the definition of life.
Do you reckon this will make us smarter people? The fact that we're going through these questions and answering them, because like the normal person, the everyday Joe, look at us, so elite, would not be thinking about this stuff.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
And they would be more dismissive of it and unwilling to take it on. And I'm thinking about what I just said, like, even though we don't have all of the information, we live in our own perception of reality,
mm,
we still try to understand. We don't always dismiss it just because, like, we have the capacity to at least try
mm,
to see things through the lens of others. And
yeah.
that's
And I think, look, humans are
something.
curious creatures. I mean, it makes sense for us to kind of we enjoy just dreaming too, I suppose, to an extent, you know. But anyway, the next question: if someone you loved was killed in, I remember this one. I didn't think you liked this one. If someone you
No,
loved was killed in front of you, but someone created a copy of them that was perfect right down to the atomic level, would they be the same person and would you love them just as much? Ooh, weird vibes. Weird,
weird though.
weird clone vibes. This is the future, by the way. This question, you're looking down the barrel of the future.
No one ever dies.
No, that you can just like clone the person that you love that has passed away. Have you
All
seen
right.
those
So
deep fakes? Have you seen deep fakes? Do you know about
no,
deep fakes?
no.
Okay, well, once you're done, Google deep fakes, and they're
Okay.
essentially like computer AI generated video of
Mhm.
famous celebrities or anyone really. They use their voice, they use their image, they use everything and kind of make them say and do different things, right? And what they do is they just scrape all the data of, let's say, Obama. right? Because he's got a lot of data out there, right? He's the president. He has
Yeah.
heaps of images, his videos, there's his voice everywhere, his all his speeches, and they use AI to kind of just generate him and make him say whatever they want to do or want to say. So this is out there already, and it's amazing
Mhm.
technology. But this
Yeah.
makes me think of this. We're just walking down this path.
Yeah. But then this is probably broader than the actual question.
Hmm.
Like, is it not the human response that part of love and part of life and living is knowing loss?
Mm-hmm.
Having lost something, do you love the next thing more because you know that it's not forever? Like, your capacity to engage with your environment comes from what experiences you've had again,
Mm-hmm.
that things are supposed to not be permanent.
Um, I will answer, even
Yes.
though you're diverting from the question, but I love that romanticized idea of something that's still living. I do. I really love it because, yes, I agree with you. It's like you don't realize, what's that cliche? You don't realize until you've lost it, right?
Yeah.
How much it
Yeah.
means to you. Yeah, and like by virtue of loving something, like you're meant to feel that way, right? I think there's a reason why sadness exists, right?
Yes. And
Um,
you're meant to be confronted by the idea of loss.
yes.
And so, tying it back to the question, would they be the same person? Would you love them just as much? I don't think so. Because
Mm,
one, I would be taking them for granted while they were alive, going, I'll just get new you if you jump in front of
mm,
that bus.
mm,
And I have nothing to lose here. So, like, I don't even really need to try.
yes. Yeah.
Let's say, for example, okay, we start fighting and we're not getting along anymore. I'm
Mm,
not challenging myself to grow as a person with you in this relationship.
yeah.
What if then I feel like my murderous intent is coming out? What if I then just say, I kill you off? Like, I messed this one up.
And we'll
Let's
try
just,
again.
yeah, we'll throw you out and then we'll get the next you to come back and
Yes.
like I get a redo.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? This is the whole like reincarnation
Mm,
arguments that we are developing, bettering ourselves, reaching that ultimate self,
mm,
and we're just kind of like cycling it
yeah.
immediately. And I can see that going badly very quickly.
Yeah. I think so too. First of all, I think it's wrong anyway. If we're going down this path, then we shouldn't really go down this path. Um, if
Yeah.
let bygones be bygones, we shouldn't like recreate something that's been lost. Um, unless they're like a protected species or something. Maybe that's different, like extinct. Actually, yeah. Okay, but anyway, we're talking about humans.
Anyway, yes,
Okay.
human.
Um. Okay. So I agree with you. Okay, we shouldn't be doing that, and I don't like the idea. I agree that it devalues that actual person if you can
Yeah.
kind of just continue having a retry. So, but in relation to this question, if it was exactly the same person right down to the atomic level, would they be the same person? Uh, uh, Again, it's like that person. A person has they are who they are because they've lived through that experience for them to become that person. Like, would they have the same experiences? Would they be able to? Like, they're not going to have the same experiences.
Do they
Like,
have the
if you,
same memories?
yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, would you have the same memories if you died in 2022? Like, you can't redo all the same experience that you've had to become this person. Um, and would you love them just the same? I don't. I think you'd want to. That idea in your head is, they've never left, right? But it's like, do they love you the same?
Can we talk about the elephant in the room
What is
as
it?
well?
What is that?
Someone you loved was killed right in front of you. I
Oh yeah.
don't know that I want them brought back to life and then I have to stare at them all day long. That's a lot of trauma.
Oh dude, I didn't even think of that. That first part is so confronting. What the hell?
I don't want you to come back so I can relive that every day and then go back to being terrified. Like, even if I can recreate you and you're coming back, do I have to watch you die 10 more times? Like, that's very, no, I wouldn't love them
Yeah.
just as much. I'd be sad and scared all the time.
Yeah, no, that's not cool.
I don't know. My answer is no to this question.
Yeah, the last part, would you love them just as much? I think you'd want to, because in your head you've shared all these experiences and all these memories and all these occasions with this person. But if you hit the reset button on them, they wouldn't. I don't think they would have the same memories. You know, I don't know. Anyway, I don't want it to happen. I just don't want it to happen. Okay, it's
When
not
you're
cool.
gone, stay gone.
That's it. Stay gone. Be gone. Um. Okay. All right.
Done.
Spinning the wheel once again. What goodies will it give us this time? All right. Is it possible to prove that other people besides yourself have consciousness? No, I don't like that one. Do you want to skip that one?
Yes.
We're cheating here, but it's like, why is conscious questions? No, I don't
We
do
need
that.
the light and fluffy version of the wheel.
Yeah, give us the like amateur version of philosophical questions. Oh, what this? It's and they're also morbid. This is another morbid one. If you had to guess, what do you think would be the most likely way you would die? No, skip.
I feel like it would be something dumb, really dumb.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't see a natural progression out there for me.
Mm, I just go for the peaceful, quiet route.
Yeah.
Okay, I think this one we can deal with.
Okay.
What are the benefits and drawbacks of diversity in society? I think this is kind of important given the current nature of our world,
Yes.
with how it's interesting how social media has connected us all so intimately, and yet we feel so divided with all the groups that have kind of,
Emerged.
yes, exactly. So um this again, like I said, like, can we have the amateur version? Because it's like I can only think of the very shallow responses to the
Mm-hmm.
benefits, like
Yeah.
great food, different cultures, you know, different languages, cultural traditions. I mean, all these benefits of diversity, great, fantastic, right?
Awesome.
I can't think of anything deeper than that. Um,
Acceptance, like
drawbacks.
respect. Oh, drawbacks.
Yeah, that's probably the more interesting part, or controversial.
I guess an argument could be made
Mm.
that maybe there's a loss of identity for some. And what I'm thinking here is like Australians,
Mm.
true blue Aussies
Mm.
may tell you that they feel as though they don't have a sense of, culture or self or diversity. So maybe it's that loss of like identity because there's so much diversity around you. It's almost like everyone's unique, so I'm not special.
Mm.
Does that make sense? That's a drawback, right?
Is it? I don't understand why they would lose their sense of identity just because. You mean it becomes a bit diluted
Yeah.
amongst the crowd?
Yes.
Huh. But does the net negative, net positive, like, outweigh the negative? You think?
Oh, by miles. As a majority Australian person,
Hmm.
I'm very glad that there's diversity out there because it would just be really bland and boring
Hmm.
without it. But I'm trying to be the devil's advocate here
Hmm.
and see if people would be sad by that.
No, no, no. I also, it's good that you raised that point, because yeah, I can. That's a valid point. I mean, with so much diversity, then it becomes literally a melting pot of everything. And is there then diversity if everything just gets mixed together? I mean, maybe the positive of that is we just eventually see each other as people.
Yeah, and then you start to blend so much that it's there's well, this is turning into a positive and not a drawback, but like you get so used to things being different
Mm.
that there's less for you to like try to oppose. That
Yeah.
us and them type argument should also start to dissipate when you're just surrounded by so many things that are different.
Yeah. We need to ask like a hardcore racist this question
Yes,
because like
100%.
you know we can't answer it without like I honestly don't see
Go
any
for it.
drawbacks. I honestly don't see any drawbacks. I'm cool. I'm cool with everybody. Like um just come enjoy, whatever. There's just oh actually, you know what though?
One big family. Yes,
Oh no, okay. Racist
go for
coming
it.
out. No, 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 no.
Yeah, it
Look,
needs to.
ah, I'm gonna sound like a bigot or something. But there's like some things um that probably shouldn't come across. some
Okay.
some cultural practices. Like for example, female genitalia circumcision. All right? Like
That's also where my mind went.
yeah, like keep that cultural
Yes.
diversity. Yeah, I I
Away.
can I can do without that, right? So, I mean, there's drawbacks in the sense that some, and look, dude, I'm just gonna put a disclaimer out there. I hope I don't offend anyone. I'm not a racist or anything like that, right? But there's some cultural traditions or views probably clash with Western ideals, right?
Yes.
And I think we're uncomfortable with that. That's why we can see drawbacks of diversity.
Yes. Because but is that again, it challenges our sense of self because we always think that we're doing it right. Each
Yes.
culture on both opposing sides thinks that they are the superior,
Mm,
even for lack of a better word. So
mm,
the drawback then becomes that sense of competition that I have to stand my ground and hold up the values of my culture,
mm. Yeah.
withstanding all others.
Yeah, it's interesting that we're more than willing to take the shallow parts of people's diversity. But when it gets deeper and they're asking for more, then it's like, yeah, we
Yeah.
don't want to give you all the rights.
I'll eat your food, but take your values home.
Yeah,
Like,
that's right. That's right. I'll enjoy your food, but when you ask for have to have equal rights, yeah, no. You know,
not here.
yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I'm gonna move on before we get stuck in the weeds with that one.
We get ourselves into some sort of trouble.
Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, I think it's a net positive. Again, I
Mhm.
just want the food. Okay. All right. This one is kind of pertinent for current media. Is some degree of
Okay.
censorship necessary? Hmm. Given that I think more now than ever there is censorship. Like,
Yes.
but back in the day, I suppose you never was so easily able to spread information. So, you
Yes.
know, there's a place for it now. Is there some degree of censorship necessary? Yes, I would just say
Absolutely.
I think so. Um, People are dangerous with their ideas,
Yes.
and I think yeah. But say again, it raises the question: if you kind of expand on this question, who does the censoring, and who
Who
you
makes
know,
that decision?
yeah, who makes the rules on what should be censored and what isn't? Especially recent times with a certain global disease, some
What?
things were being censored. You weren't allowed to talk about certain things and certain research and results. um I bring to mind that apparently the vaccine was causing people to have like infertility issues, and no
Ah,
one and the news was suppressing that because it was deemed misinformation, not disinformation. And now it turns out that that's very valid. So again, it's like censorship, but who governs that and who makes the rules?
who's in charge?
Hmm. Who do you think
In
should?
reality,
Who do you think should?
okay, who should?
Hmm. Government
Is it bad?
bodies? Like what?
I don't have the answer because I don't have a faith in whom would be reasonable about it.
Yeah, but yet we both believe that there should be.
Yes, but I was thinking about this on a much more like micro level. Like I was thinking like person to person.
Ah, okay.
Not that I partake in this, but like there are people who benefit from certain information being censored. You know, the old like I didn't tell someone something because I didn't want to hurt them.
Mm,
Like doing that, you're censoring information for the
mm,
benefit of that person.
yes.
There's arguments there about that being a necessary everyday activity, but that,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean, is on an
Yep.
interpersonal level, not on
Yes.
a
Yep.
government and societal
Oh well,
outbreak.
of course, I think we both would agree that personal censorship should be, applicable most times. If you're a decent human being where you don't want to hurt anyone or cause any chaos or trouble, like I think to an extent, we can all not say things that we're thinking half the time.
But derailing the question, my personal stance on that is that I don't appreciate that on a personal level.
Okay, why?
I would rather be told because like your decision to not hurt me by
Mm-hmm.
sharing information with me,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of whether it will or won't hurt me,
Mm-hmm.
that assumes a weakness in me. Like I can't handle this information. I don't
Mm.
have the capacity to process
Yes.
whatever it is that you're keeping from me.
Okay.
Who is better at making that decision, you or me, when I have to live it? Like that feels like my autonomy's been stolen, and I don't like that.
Yes. Okay. What if they're right though?
My philosophy will always be
Mm.
that, like, if you tell me
Yes.
I can handle it, I will process it.
Yes.
But if you hide it from me, if it
Mm.
is censored from me in
Mm.
the name of whatever argument you're making,
Yeah.
there's no returning from that. Because, like, there's never going to be a reason where I'll say it was necessary to do because it's not your decision to make.
Mm. But I guess you'd be none the wiser. See, the thing is, like, people don't want to burn bridges, right? That's the reason why they don't,
Say
say
things.
things, or the reason why they censor themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's because maybe they don't want to hurt you. Maybe they think it's for your benefit, or whatever reason. Whether it's self-serving for them,
Yeah. Or
or
whether it's true.
yeah. But people, I think, believe most of the time they will censor themselves because they just don't want the drama, right? Whether that's you're talking to a stranger on the street and his breath smells and you just don't want to tell him, like,
Yeah.
it's like you just don't want to risk the fact that he can't handle it or she can't handle it, and don't want to burn any bridges, don't want to upset anybody, so they self censor. Um, and I understand where you're coming from as well.
Yeah.
I just don't want to deal with the drama.
Do you keep secrets, David?
Of course, we all keep secrets. Oh, maybe you don't. You just tell people how it is.
No, I do. Absolutely do.
But yeah, no, that's why, you know, there's office politics, for example, because you
Yeah.
don't you have to play the game. You don't want to say everything that's on your mind because certain people won't handle it well.
Yeah.
And whilst you say it's not your decision to kind of assume whether I can or cannot handle it, I only go by past experiences. And
Yeah.
if I self,
How you have
if I
handled similar
know,
information.
yeah, and if I know you can, then I might be more inclined to, tell you and be upfront and honest with you.
But then does that not open the door? And we've seen this too then.
Mm,
Let's say, using the example of office politics,
mm.
where then, like, do you not then become complicit in that information
Yes.
for fear of sharing information that's going to upset the one? You
Yep.
could then be upsetting the many.
100%. You are complicit.
You're avoiding a hard conversation.
Yes. Yeah. You're complicit in perpetuating whatever it is that you have issues with. Right.
Yes.
If you're not voicing it and you're not airing it out, then you can't complain if it happens again and again and again and again. Yes, you're complicit in it. 100%.
Then the
But
censorship in that is not like it, you can't argue in its favor because
no.
it's like it's more detrimental to you.
Yes. 100%. Yeah. In that sense, um, I don't know whether it's necessary or not necessary in terms of this question, but yeah, it doesn't do you any favors if you don't enlighten that person. Um, but yeah, I just thought about it on a very global level because I miss the conspiracy tinfoil hat. Love a good conspiracy. All right, spinning the wheel again. See, it's good that we kind of branch off. You were thinking of the micro, and I was thinking of like macroscopically, globally.
The whole world is affected.
Yeah. Okay. Ooh. Ooh.
Oh dear.
All right. This will be our last one because we've ticked over the 1 hour, and we'll
Okay.
end on a positive note, I think.
Oh.
Does marriage as an institution need to be updated, or is it fine how it is? Married versus unmarried right now.
Yeah. Do I have any rights in this
Of course you
conversation?
do. Everyone has a right to opinion.
But I know nothing. Like I don't know if the romantic idea of marriage that I believe in
Hmm.
is a reality. So I don't know if it needs to change.
Do you want it to change? Well, okay, hang on. What is your idea? What as in marriage? Do you believe marriage is an institution? It's something that a person needs to go through in order to, I don't know, get to that point in their life. They need to be married, or do you believe that you could be in a relationship with someone, not get married, and live for the rest of your life? And I don't know, the institution, the idea, the concept of marriage. Do you believe in that?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. But what troubles me about what you just said is like, do you feel that people need to?
Hmm.
It's not about that. I feel that people should want to. And I think that maybe that's the thing that needs to be updated or changed, that people should be entering into it because they want to. Because I think romantically that it's like as an idea,
Mm-hmm.
it's about that commitment to each other that you know you're both staying in a relationship for the purposes of bettering it. You guys are going to grow and develop together ongoing forever and ever and a day.
Mm.
That as an idea is really lovely.
Mm-hmm.
I think it becomes problematic when that's not why marriage happens.
Yeah. Let's kind of tweak it a little bit, and think of marriage, the institution of marriage being between a man and a woman.
Okay, yes.
Does it need to be updated?
I'm saying yes, as though it hasn't already. Like the old school idea of marriage has already been updated
Mm.
to accommodate
Like
our
gay
current
people.
reality. Yeah, but it's like the idea of marriage hasn't stayed as traditional as society's understanding of love, relationships,
Mm.
and intimate partners. Like as we've changed, marriage changed too. Like slowly, but it happened.
I don't even know what like the concept of marriage is. Like,
You're the married one.
no, I mean like as an institution. When they say it's an institution, it's like this long tradition that's spanned eons, and it's like ingrained in every culture. It's an institution. Um, I don't know. It doesn't need to be updated. I don't care.
The first thing that crossed my mind when I heard this question
Mm,
was the argument and I guess the transition now where traditional, what are they, vows
mm.
have been updated to no longer say that I don't I don't know what it is, that I will love, protect, and obey. So obey as
Oh, right.
a vow has been removed. So something like that in terms of, that
Oh,
was
okay.
an idea in a marriage that has been updated again to reflect changes in society's understanding of
Mm,
individuals' rights, autonomies, choices,
mm.
how a marriage should look.
Yeah. I like the idea of marriage.
Mhm,
I do like the romantic idea.
mhm.
I do enjoy the concept that you're tied to this person for life, that you dedicate certain vows to this person. I like that idea. Um, yeah. And I don't really care who wants to get married or not. I don't care what your
Yeah.
sexual preferences is. It's it's a at the end of the day, for me, marriage is a beautiful thing, right? It's a loving thing. So if two people
Mhm.
love each other, yeah, go for it. Like,
Right.
why are we keeping that from them? Why are
Yeah.
we keeping this idea away from them? If they love each other, let them get married. Who cares? Um, what I don't like. This is one of my pet peeves.
Yeah.
Don't want to call anyone out, but if Liz would know this, who I'm talking about. But there's a person, and she refers to her um, partner, de facto partner, male, as her
Yes.
husband, and I'm just like, no, he's not your husband because
Or not
you
married.
you are not married, and the institution of marriage is very important, and you do not get to use that term. This is so shallow. It's
Mhm.
like it's just a word, right? But you do not
Yes.
get to use that term to describe your partner because you haven't gone through this initiation ceremony. You haven't
Not
spent thirty
again.
thousand dollars. You haven't been
But
scammed by the
but
industry.
this whole time that you were prefacing this scenario, I'm thinking then, are you not describing the institution of a wedding?
Marriage is everything. Marriage is the whole thing. It's the wedding. It's the vows. It's the pomp. It's the love that goes into it. It's everything. It's bringing together two families. It's marriage is all that.
But if this person went down to the courthouse,
Yes.
signed a paper in front of their neighbor,
Yes.
and was legally
Yes.
entered into the institution of marriage,
Yes.
would your displeasure in her use of the word husband change
It's better than
because she
nothing.
hasn't had fanfare?
It's better than nothing.
If she signed a paper, it's a paper for you.
No. It's not just the paper. Um that's a good point. That's a good point. You made a good point there. You stumped me on that point. I I want it to be all, but if that's the least you're gonna do, then in the eyes of the whatever the government, or then you're legally married. Fine, use it. Fine, use that word,
I'll allow it.
but you don't deserve it. No, yeah, yeah. Liz feels the same way. She's just like you, yeah. You didn't go through the process, and not just the
Yeah,
process, but you just don't get to use it if you haven't. I don't know.
experience.
I just sound like an asshole now.
You're just angry over the smallest of
Yeah, I
details.
know. It's silly. It's stupid. Look, at the end of the day, actually, I totally just contradicted myself because, like I said, if two people love each other, who gives a shit? I don't care. The institution of marriage should be available to them. But these two people evidently very much love each other, but they've just chosen not to go through,
Marriage.
yeah, marriage. Um, I don't even know anymore. I don't. I really don't know.
I'd like to sit them down and understand then why that's their choice of word. Like, why do you wish to call each other that
Yeah.
if you don't wish to have the wedding, get
Yes.
married?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I just want to know that's a good thing. I just want to know why. Why you
Why you
want
like this?
why you want the benefits without going through the process. Mind you, there's no
There it
benefits. You don't get any extra brownie points for calling them your wife or husband. None at all. Um, but yeah, there you go. All right, always a pleasure doing Fast Five philosophy with you. Um, so uh, hopefully it'll be a bit more frequent. I know it's like been a while between uploads, but a lot of things have been happening, especially on Ashley's end. My end, nothing, boring. But yeah, next time we do one, you never know. Ashley could be married. We'll see. Goodbye, everybody. Take it easy. Have a good night.
Bye.